All right, we are live. Hello. Welcome, everyone. So glad to have you here today. Really appreciate you joining me. I'm going to get started in just 1 minute while a couple more folks are joining. Feel free to type in the chat where you are currently located in the world. Bunch of folks hanging out. Joe from Atlanta. Joe already joined Insiders. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. I know there's a bunch of other folks out there. Streethar from Bangalore. Let's see, must be late there right now, like 10 or in any case, thanks, Streethar. Also already joined the Insiders. Appreciate that so very much. All right, David from New Jersey. Shanae from Philadelphia, thank you so much for joining me, guys. Streethar, 11:30. That's right. The weird to me, 9.5 hours ahead. So thanks for staying up. Francisco from Chicago. Okay. Well, I want to keep Trey. Good to see you from San Diego. I want to keep kind of tight on time. Don't want to waste your time. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself and then talk about kind of the format of today. My name's Kevin Markham. I'm the founder of Data School. I live in Asheville, North Carolina right now. Just moved here. I'm 37 years old, and I have a wife and a 19-month-old son. So that's me. You're probably here because you know the Data School blog or the email newsletter or the YouTube channel or something like that. But if you don't know me, my goal is to just help aspiring data scientists achieve their dreams. So I try to do that through courses and tutorials and notebooks and webcasts and blog posts and other things like that. Today, during this webcast, I'm going to be talking about the Data School Insiders program, why you might want to join, and then I've gotten lots of emails about the reward levels. So I'll talk about those in detail beyond what you can just get from the Patreon page, and then I'll answer your questions. If you do have a question, feel free to click the Ask a Question link at the bottom of the page and type it in, and I'll hit those at the end. And I will do my best to answer all of them. I'm going to try to keep it at 30 minutes, but we'll stay as long as people have questions, and you can head out anytime you need to. And this is not a webcast about data science per se, so I'm not going to be answering data science questions or teaching anything. This is just about the Data School Insiders program. So I'll share my screen in a little bit, but for now, it'll just be me talking. So what is Data School Insiders? It is a crowdfunding campaign to help support Data School. So Data School started back in 2014, and my tutorials since that time have reached over 1 million people around the world, every single country, and I'm very proud of that. And there are two things I want to do. One is to reach more people, and the second is to serve my existing audience better. And that is what this campaign is designed to allow me to do. So this is an ongoing campaign run through the Patreon platform, and I'll show you that in a bit if you haven't already seen it. If you're not familiar with Patreon, you might know Kickstarter. It's similar to Kickstarter, except that Kickstarter is very much a one-time crowdfunding platform, meaning like, help me fund this course, this product, ... So a one-time campaign, whereas Patreon is an ongoing campaign. So meaning like, help me create the thing I create on an ongoing basis. That's the real difference. Just looking at the poll results, let's see. It looks like some people are familiar with Kickstarter and other crowdfunding sites, Indiegogo. Most people have not contributed to a crowdfunding campaign and are not familiar with Patreon, but that's fine. I think as I talk about the campaign, you'll see, even if you've never heard of crowdfunding before, you'll see how all of this works, and I will answer all of your questions. So I want to spend, I only assume that since you're here, it probably means you are interested in joining Data School Insiders, or you might want to learn more about it. You're thinking about joining. So I'm going to start by talking about 3 key reasons you might want to join Data School Insiders. And then, so I'll outline 3 reasons and then go into some more detail. The 3 reasons I think are number 1, joining helps me to create new data science tutorials. Number 2, joining allows you to be part of a new data science community. And number 3, you'll receive valuable rewards. So those are the 3 reasons I think you should join, or you should consider joining, and I'll talk about each of those in more detail. So number 1, you will be able to help me create new data science tutorials. And the bottom line is that I've spent a lot of time, thousands of hours in my best guess, creating free tutorials, and I love doing that. And now that I'm focused on data school full-time, I want to make that sustainable for me to do this. Just thinking of my family and just making this a sustainable work. So you've probably seen there are lots of blogs and YouTube that you start watching and you love it, and then one day they stop publishing and they never come back. And that's because they weren't able to make it sustainable. And for them, it was fun to make that stuff, but continually creating new content is a real commitment, and you have to find a way to make it sustainable if you're going to spend a lot of time on it. So most people, given the choice between quitting their blog and quitting their job, tend to just quit blogging if they have to choose. And I did the other direction. I decided, you know what, I just want to work on data school because I really love doing it and I think it's important. So how do I make this sustainable? Well, I could, for example, just focus purely on paid courses. And I will create paid courses. That is part of what Data School will create. But I want to still put out lots and lots of free content. So working only on paid courses is not an option. And if that's what I was doing, I wouldn't have any time for free content. Another option that's very popular is to focus on consulting or to do mentoring or private workshops, and all of those things people ask me to do. And that would really just mean little or no time for free content. So Patreon is a way for me to make giving out free content sustainable. And that is why I'm running this campaign. So if you feel like Data School in the past has provided you with really exceptional value, then Patreon is a way you can give back to me and help me to continue build new free content. And that will help you, and that will help everyone in the Data School community, everyone who watches, regardless of whether they have the interest or ability to support me in this way. And by the way, the more, quite frankly, the more I'm able to raise through Patreon, the more time I can afford to spend just working on free content, which is why I'm really trying to get the word out so that, I can make it as beneficial as possible for everyone. So that's reason number 1, you might want to join. Reason number 2 is you'll become part of a new data science community. And learning data science, as you probably know, can be a very lonely and difficult thing. And I am trying to build a new community where we can get to know one another, deepen our connections, and support one another through the learning process. So I get to know a lot of people through like emails and messages, and occasionally meet someone in person, but it's not a very deep connection except for the in-person. And there's also not a way for each of you to get to know one another, to support one another, to give one another feedback and things like that. So that's what I'm trying to help build through Data School Insiders, this new community. So it'll be a way for you to connect with one another, And there's a couple specific ways I'm going to do this that I will outline when I talk through the rewards. But the 3 ways I'll mention right now, and then again, I'll mention it when I'm discussing the rewards, is there's a community tab on the Patreon website. There are private webcasts, and there's a private forum. So those are the 3 things I'll mention in the rewards section where I think we can help to build this community. Okay, so that's number 2 for why you might want to join. And then number 3 is you'll receive what I would consider to be valuable rewards. So these are broken into what are called reward tiers, very much like Kickstarter. I'm going to share my screen, and then showing you the Patreon website, and walk through each of the reward tiers, and you can decide if you're interested and what is best for you. If you want to walk through it with me, just go to patreon.com/dataschool, or there's a green button below my video, and you can click that and you'll be taken to the site. Let me go ahead and share my screen, and it should be focused on me. So you should be able to see my screen, and then I'll be in the corner. I'll just walk you through this page really briefly, and then I will talk about the reward tiers, since I know a lot of folks have questions about them. But basically, I'm at the top. If at any time you decide you want to join, you can click this Become a Patron button, and it's a very quick process. On the right side is where it outlines each of the tiers. There's a $1, $5, $10, and $20 tiers, and those are monthly amounts. Okay. Just because it's easier to see, I'm going to scroll down to kind of the middle where I've kind of copied all that information into the body of the Patreon page. And this will be a lot easier for me to refer to and kind of makes it easier for you to see. So it's the same exact information. So I will go ahead and just walk through each of these, and I will read it just in case you can't see the video. But I mainly want to give you more context to each of these, and you can ask questions if something I say is too vague and you want more details. So this is the $1 per month level I call it Student Supporter. So the first is access my private Patreon activity feed and get notified when I publish new tutorials. So this is really, if you join at this level, you're going to get announcements similar to what I put in the email newsletter. But those announcements will often come earlier, and they might contain additional information. I will just be sharing, and have already been sharing, a bit more with my patrons than I do in the newsletter. The next thing, provide crucial feedback that will help me to decide what I should create next. When I need feedback on whether I should do X or Y, right now, I just kind of sit and think on it, and I just come up with a decision. And I'd really like to give the opportunity to the most kind of passionate supporters to influence like what I make, because ultimately I want to build things that are useful to you. So that's what I mean. I'll be offering periodic opportunities where I'm trying to make certain decisions, and I want your feedback. The next thing is to keep the Data School blog ad-free. You might notice that most people put ads on their blog, or many, because it helps support various costs of running a blog and their time as well. I'd like to keep the blog ad-free, and you will be helping to do that, so I won't interrupt your blog experience with obnoxious ads. And then number 4, feel good about helping me and enabling me to create free content that reaches students around the world. And it really does. I think over half my YouTube views and blog views are from outside of the US. And it has reached well over 1 million people over the years. Okay. There's a couple other things I didn't mention at this level that you might be interested in. Number 1, there's this community tab, and you can only post on that if you are a patron. an insider. It's the same thing. Patron is their terminology. Insider is kind of my terminology. But if you've joined, you can post there. And that's one way we'll help to build community and get to know one another, is on that community tab. Another benefit still of this, the $1 level, I get, like anyone who puts out a lot of stuff on YouTube and blog and stuff, I get, maybe 50 to 100 questions per week via email or Twitter or YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn or 10 other ways. And I try to answer them all eventually, but patrons, insiders are always going to get my priority. Because most people, I read my email essentially once a week or once every 2 weeks and try to fly through it as fast as possible. Patrons, I will try to answer your questions within a day or two, instead of a week or two. So that's something I'd like to do to support you. Just to set expectations, I still can only spend a short amount of time on every question I receive. Like a few minutes at most. And I don't know everything. So this is not like personal mentoring or like a code review service. It's still just a very small amount of time I have to answer individual questions so that I can serve the greater community as much as possible. But at least you'll know that you're getting the priority, because I really appreciate you investing in me and I want to do what I can to invest in you. Okay. So all of that is at the $1 per month level. Moving on to the $5 a month level, which I call Classroom Crew. For this, you can participate in a private monthly Q&A webcast, and you can always submit questions and watch the recording if you can't be there live. It's pretty obvious I'll be answering questions. This is private for patrons only. I'll be answering questions to the best of my ability. I'll be using Crowdcast, this platform we're using right now. So this is kind of what it will look like. And this is another avenue where I'm hoping to help build the community, a community feel as we get to know one another. And as each month we see each other and hear the questions and kind of talk through things. Okay. So that's what that first benefit is. The second is get advanced access to upcoming posts and videos. Now, this won't always be possible, but often I have a video or a blog post that's ready, and I have to be, or I want to be strategic about when I publish it or put it in the newsletter. And my plan is to just share that with you, the insiders, as soon as it's ready, even if I haven't published it. Now, all of this content will eventually become public, but patrons at this level will just get it first. I'll follow you on Twitter, LinkedIn, and anywhere else you want to connect. That's kind of self-explanatory. And then all of the rewards above. So for every reward tier, you get everything in the reward tiers above as well. So at the 5, you get the 5 and the $1 tiers. At the 10, you get the 10, 5, and 1 rewards, if that makes sense. Okay. Moving on to the $10 level, which I'm calling Faculty Lounge. And the first benefit there is to access a private forum where you can ask questions and get feedback and share ideas and network with others and me. So I want to talk about the forum because I think it's going to be a pretty special place. And I want to kind of compare it to the experience of a forum versus like the monthly webcast. So one nice thing about the forum is that, it's an ongoing thing. You can post questions or comments or thoughts or ideas anytime, rather than just once per month. So I think that's a really nice thing. Second, the webcast, as you can see right now, it's mostly one-to-many in that questions will come to me. I'll do my best to answer them. And on the forum, the real idea there is that we can all help one another, because there are a lot of people that want to share their knowledge and really want to benefit others with data science things they've learned. They've struggled. They don't want others to struggle in the same way. And so the forum is already very much a many-to-many kind of place. So this is where I'm really trying to create a community where, we can get to know each other a little bit on the Patreon website, a little bit more in the webcasts, and a lot more in the forum, because there's more time and more frequency, and a greater opportunity to share things. Okay. And another nice benefit of the forum is that because we'll know each other a little bit better, because I don't expect it to be a gigantic community, we can use what we know about each other to kind of inform how we help one another and what we share. And then finally, a nice benefit of the forum is I'm using a platform called Discourse. It's relatively new. Well, it's not new at this point, but 3 or 4 years old, I think. And it's by the same people who have invented Stack Overflow. And it's a much better format than most others, for asking like longer questions, more detailed questions, more in-depth back and forth questions that don't really fit in the comment section of a YouTube video or in a webcast. So those are reasons I'm really excited about the private forum. Okay. Next, access bonus educational content that will never be released publicly. So people have asked me, like, what is this bonus content? Like, what am I going to learn? And I've got lots of ideas, but no set kind of schedule, no set list, because ultimately the bonus content depends on what else I'm working on. So to give you an example, I just released a course on the DataCamp platform on pandas. And this bonus content for people at the $10 level was all of the course slides, the word for word video transcripts for the 16 videos, and this absolutely humongous Jupyter notebook I created when I was developing the course. It contains all of the exercise code, most of the code from the videos, and it's not something I would ever share publicly because it's not a polished thing. It's a little bit hard to follow, but for someone who's interested, it's a great reference. It's cool to see kind of how I build a course. And it's a nice way to just quickly see what's in the course and see if you're interested in taking it and what you'll learn. Other possible bonus content would be transcripts of things, downloads of existing content. Probably the most exciting thing is I have lots of ideas and I don't know if it's worth investing the time to make kind of a full-blown tutorial. And my plan is that occasionally I'll create some kind of like rough content that I share, and I don't know if I'm ever going to make it public. I don't know if I'm going to refine it and edit it and make it something bigger, but this is the place where I can share kind of experimental content, rough content that I don't feel ready to release publicly and may never release publicly. So I'm excited about that. Receive discounts on future courses and products. I can't give you exact amounts because I don't plan that far ahead. And so I don't know what my courses and products will be. The one example I can give you is that the DataCamp course I just released, DataCamp as a platform costs $29 a month. And with people at the $10 reward level, I already shared a link to get a free month of DataCamp so that you don't have to, if all you want to do with DataCamp is like take my course and maybe take a few others out of their 100 so courses, you can get it free for a month and then cancel. Or I don't think you even have to pay in advance. I'm not sure, but free month. So that's something of value. I've got an ebook that I've just started to work on. I would imagine I would give that to people at this reward level for free when it eventually came out. If I was going to release an online course, and I'm sure I will in the future, I would, if I had to guess, I'd say I would offer it at maybe half price to insiders or more. Basically, my plan would be to give whatever discount I feel like I can afford, because again, you've invested in me, and so I want to invest in you. Okay, and as with all the other tiers, you get all of the rewards above this level. All right. Final one, and then I will answer questions, and I'm trying not to run long here. But the $20 tier, and I won't read this out, but just a behind the scenes look at data school, how I create videos, how my business works, tips on content creation, marketing, business, teaching. This reward tier is not about data science, okay? This is a tier for those of you who are wanting to build a business, who want to blog, who want to create YouTube videos, who want to get better at marketing, who want to teach. If those things are of interest to you, this might be a good tier for you. If you're really just into behind the scenes kind of stuff, this also might be of interest to you. And finally, if you were going to join the $10 reward level and you thought, well, I can afford it and I just want to support Kevin even more, then might as well join the next level up and see if maybe the content is of interest to you. In terms of what the content will be, it'll mostly be videos, sometimes write-ups, but this will all be brand new content and it will all be private. I've got a long list of ideas for things I might create for this reward tier. It might be pretty random in terms of tips and advice and behind the scenes. It's not a course, like this is not a course on how to launch a business or how to become a better teacher. But for the right person, especially someone who's building a business and cares a lot about these things like video or marketing, I actually have a lot I'd like to share on that. And this level could be worth a lot to you if any of my tips save you a lot of time or money. And with this level, with this tier, comes a restricted area of the private forum where we can discuss all of this content, which again, I think can be really valuable if you're growing a business, for example. Okay. So that's enough of me talking on and on about the tiers. Hopefully that was helpful. Before I answer questions, I want to just, if you're interested, encourage you to join. And again, if you haven't gone to the Patreon website, there's this green button below you can click, and you just click the red Become a Patron button, and it's a quick process. Briefly, there's no risk because you can change your pledge at any time. You can cancel your pledge at any time. So it's something you can try out. There are no fees unless your bank charges you to convert to US dollars. You'll get a lot of immediate access. With the $1 level, you'll get immediate access to the community tab and my activity feed. For the $5 level, you haven't even missed the first private webcast. That's going to be on Friday. For the $10 level, there's already been bonus content posted. I'll give you forum access this afternoon and you can start reading. And at the $20 level, I've already shared content, shared one long video that you'll get immediate access to. So anyway, those are some reasons to join. And thanks to Kevin, who's here right now, who just joined. So I appreciate that. Thanks to all the folks that have already joined, which I greatly appreciate. I want to go ahead and answer your questions. So I am going to, let me swap back to my face here. And then, pardon me, I'll need to kind of read through these questions, but I'll read them out so that you don't have to watch. Okay, first question by Streethar, who's already joined. I appreciate that. He says, I'm just starting with data science, so I wanted to know how this community is going to help me out. So the things I would say, number one, your support is going to help me continue to create more content, which is, of course, good for you because you get that content. If you participate in the webcasts in the forum, I think there's value there in being able to ask questions, collaborate with others, share your knowledge. Hopefully the bonus content might be of help to you that won't be publicly available. And then discounts, for example, may help the future courses become more accessible to you. So that's ways I think it would be helpful. And number two, he said, I've enrolled for the $10 a month level. I expect some routine, video tutorials and notebooks to be shared with regard to machine learning algorithms? Okay, so there are a couple questions to address in here. The first is, will the content be about machine learning and machine learning algorithms? And yes, some content will be about machine learning. It's not my only focus, but some content will be on machine learning and some will not. In terms of whether it will be routine, I mean, I'm going to continue to create content. I hope to release content more frequently. Though quite frankly, like the Patreon funding doesn't change how long it takes to create high quality content. So I will do my best to put out content as frequently as possible, but the content will come when it comes, and it just takes a lot of time for me to put out good content. And so that's kind of the bottom line. Okay. Next question, also from Streethar. Let's see. Can we expect videos, tutorials on advanced concepts such as NLP, neural networks, clustering, deep learning? In terms of what type of content to expect, my content will continue to range all the way from beginner to advanced. And will it be videos or notebooks? The format will continue to vary, so I can't give you particular answers on that. Michael Reinhard, who has already joined, appreciate it, Michael, asks, are you ever planning to do any kind of introduction to neural nets? I've seen a lot of cool things done with neural nets and text data. And while your course on text and NLP has been tremendously helpful, you've never touched on neural nets. I feel like the whole field could benefit from your clear and straightforward teaching style. Cool. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate your kind comments about my teaching style and about the machine learning with text course. To answer your question, yes, I will teach neural networks at some point. I will cover that in some way. I don't teach a topic till I feel sufficiently fluent with it. And so I will cover neural networks when I'm ready. And that time is just not at this very moment. So it is in the plans. It's just not ready. All right. Albert, who I've seen many times in email. Good to see you. He asks, can I do a one-time payment? All right. Great question. So Albert, basically Patreon is designed as a membership platform. So it is a monthly payment. There's not even a way to pay yearly. So you can't, for example, pay all up for, like, you can't say, oh, I want to join the $10 level for a year and pay $120 or some sort of discount. It unfortunately does not work like that. So if you want to join Patreon, it's really a monthly payment. Now, if you are really set on a one-time payment, I've got two options for you. One is that you could join Patreon for 1 month. Wait till your payment gets processed. The payments are always processed on the first of the month. So you could join for 1 month and then cancel, and that would be a one-time payment. But you would lose access to kind of any rewards once you cancel. The other option, if you just want to make a donation, is I can email you a link. I'll put a link afterwards in the comments to at gumroad.com/dataschool. I have some links you can click to make a one-time donation, and it's just a donation. It's not associated with Patreon. So that's the best you can do in terms of one-time payments. Yashwant asks, what are the probable future courses are you planning on Data School? You know, I've tried to project this in the past, and I've not been very successful at predicting when I'm going to release something and what it will contain. So I'm going to do everyone a favor and not make predictions. There was stuff I thought I'd work on last year, and then turns out having a small baby takes up a lot of time. And so that's how I spent a lot of my time last year, is focusing on my family. So that kind of went out of the window, and then I've gone in a different direction in terms of making the Pandas course. So the bottom line is I can't give you a prediction about what the courses are going to be. Next question, also by Yashwant. who I think has already joined. I appreciate it. Can we have a Slack channel for the Data School Insiders? You know, I've thought about Slack. I have it for my machine learning with text course, and it didn't feel like a very good way for like kind of Q&A. It felt like a good way to chat, but I found that it was very hard to follow if you joined way later. And I actually think Discourse is going to be a much better format. That being said, if there's a demand within people who join to also have a Slack channel in addition to Discourse, I'm happy to set it up. I just don't want to give people too many channels just to start off with. I'd like to try out the forum for a while and see if there's something missing that Slack can address. Murali has asked, hi, will you cover any end-to-end real-time projects and interview tips? End-to-end projects, yes, that is definitely of strong interest. My latest Pandas course is kind of in that way. It's a case study. You might not call it quite end-to-end, but yes, there's a lot of demand for, you know, take me from start to finish. And I'd like to really do that with future courses. And I'm going to try that out. It's really hard, quite frankly. It's a lot easier to come up with kind of fake examples. And real examples are more valuable, but they also take a lot of time. So I'm going to do my best and figure out how to provide a course in that format. Will it be on real time? I'm not sure what exactly you mean by real time, so I can't say. Will I cover interview tips? I actually have a document that I wrote for a course a long time ago that I was actually thinking about sharing with as bonus content. It's kind of interview tips. Yeah, so that's what I have in mind. We'll see whether, you know, what I put out and if it's exactly what you're looking for. But I do have something like that. Murali asks, hi, will I get any discount for your current courses? So, in terms of current courses, the only paid courses I currently offer are machine learning with text in Python and the Pandas course on DataCamp. As I mentioned earlier, the $10 level insiders get a link for a free month of DataCamp, which will allow you to take my course, my Pandas course for free, which otherwise would be $29 a month. In terms of machine learning with text in Python, I'm hesitant to offer a discount. And I don't let me just answer you directly. I don't currently have a plan to offer a discount to that course to anyone because I want to thank people who helped me develop the course. It's not a cheap course and I really appreciate it. And so I'm hesitant to offer a discount after so many people have taken it at the current price. Maybe at some point in the future, I will decide to discount it. But at the moment, it's not something I feel comfortable doing. Okay. Let me look for any other questions that have come up. David just joined at the business level. Thank you so much. Yeah, really appreciate the support. If there are any other questions, I'm still taking a look through if anything else has come up. I think that's all the questions. If you have anything else, go ahead and post it in the next minute or two. But I just want to say that regardless of whether you are joining Data School Insiders, whether you're planning to join, might join in the future, I greatly appreciate your support over the years, regardless of whether you join. I've get so many nice comments and emails and YouTube comments, and I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. I hope to continue to provide a lot of value to all of you, regardless if you join, through all the free content. If you did choose to join, thank you so much. It really does make a difference to me. Radwan just joined. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All of you really are making a difference in my life and allowing me to do the work that I love. So it's really does mean a lot to me and to other people out there who appreciate my content. Helps me to reach more people. Radwan just asked, can you teach in other places like for a week or weekend? That is an interesting idea. I have thought about it. I used to teach in person in DC, but I'm no longer doing that. And I live in North Carolina now. It's under consideration, but it's, I'm just, I kind of weigh that against the value of spending my time kind of building more free content that can reach more people. The more virtual content I can create, I really like that because there's no limit on who it can reach. But I'm always open to it. I did a tutorial at PyCon, and I will try to do another one at PyCon 2019. So that's one way to see me. And occasionally folks have asked me to do in-person stuff right around the time of PyCon, like in the same city. I'd consider that. But in terms of other stuff, I haven't really given much thought. Feel free to shoot me an email with ideas if you have some specific requests. Let's see. Zolt, I'm sorry, I actually don't know how to pronounce that. Going to join Patreon and look forward to learning the best approach to data science. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's very kind. I appreciate you joining. Yashwanth, are you taking any full-time classroom courses like earlier General Assembly? No, I don't do anything in the classroom right now. Everything is online, and I like that it allows me to invest more time in online folks. When I was in the classroom at General Assembly, I loved it, but it took so much time, and that had to come first because every week people were depending on me to stand in front of the classroom and teach for 6 hours. And there's not a huge data science community here in Asheville, so nothing in person like that right now. All right, your final chance for questions. But again, thank you so much for joining. If you're still on the fence, feel free to shoot me an email, and I'd be happy to answer it. Murali, are you into consulting? I try to turn down almost all consulting opportunities, again, so that I can focus on creating free content that benefits everyone. Whereas consulting, it's great for the person I work with, but not so great for, me being able to put out free content and kind of keep building new courses and stuff that can benefit everyone. Okay, we're at 47 minutes, so I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much. As I said, feel free to email me, kevin@dataschool.io, if you have any questions. But regardless, I appreciate you joining me for this time. Some of you at the $5 level or above, I'll see you on Friday in the webcast. $10 level or above, you'll get an invitation to the forum shortly, and you can join me there. So I'll see you there. And again, thank you so much, and have a great day.